Welcome to Rauta's Backlog Reviews. This time it's not only about backlog, that is going back to year 2004 or something in that direction, but also a duel review. Now this gets interesting because I'm actually reviewing these for the second time. It was around 2007-2008 when I got these babies for the first time. And that's when I reviewed these for the site imperiumi.net, where I've been reviewing since 2002. And now I'm getting these for a second time. Once again, reissued. Now this time under a different label. Last time it was, I guess, Displeased, and this time it's Satanath. Not only that, but also these reissues are already a couple of years old. I think these one were done around 2018. Arriving here a little bit later, which is the reason why these have been waiting for their turn in my review queue box, as most of you knew, is massive. Now it doesn't matter how long or how many reissues there have been. The thing here is, we're going back in time, but not like 1990s, but still quite early on. Now these two came, if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna just look it up on Metal Archives to refresh my mind so that I get the years correct. Yes, 2004 back to back. And the band in question is Striborg, like it would be said in Swedish, I guess. And these are albums called Mysterious Semblance and Spiritual Catharsis. How to say, Australian bedroom black metal. Now that is a term that not everybody likes, but there is a reason for that term, and it usually refers to people having these kind of a solo projects. Doesn't matter what the genre is or gender is. The thing is, one person operated projects, which then again probably take more or less place in people's apartment versus, you know, getting a proper studio and all. That sometimes means very, very crappy production value, but not necessarily so, especially when people can afford proper recording equipment and do mixing, mastering and all that very much at home. As you might see, these are quite interesting because these have not only in English, these lyrics that is, but also in Russian. Maybe because these are the Russian reissues by Satanath Records. What else is interesting is that both of these albums, which came, like I said, back to back in 2004 originally, and now some 14 years later as reissues, and now some 4 years later again, 3 years later, I'm not able to count it seems, here reviewing them, is that going back to these 2004 is like 17 years since it was released, and both of these back-to-back albums run more than 70 minutes, so they're very, very much, in the literal sense, full-length albums. And once again you see Russian and English. Now my rambling may be going in rather chaotic order, because I'm very chaotic when I think about these albums. First of all, like I said, bedroom black metal is something that resonates in different people in different ways. Something it's utter crap, waste of time and useless homemade recordings. Well, for some people it's actually something really worthwhile, especially when we're talking about more kind of a depressive, suicidal black metal, thinking like some American names, Sastur or Leviathan. And I think to the same degree it could be said about Striborg. Once again, some people really, really likable material, and some people quite the contrary. Now that's as much as I'm going to show you about these physical products before going to the band's Metal Archive site. And this is worth taking a look once again. First of all, we could make this claim, and this is more or less backed up by the artist Nanas himself, you know, being the only artist since 1997, is that first wave of Striborg was black metal / ambient, like it said here in Metal Archives, early parts. Later on it became kind of a black and cold wave, electronic. And there has been even third wave, more or less. If you take a look at some of the sites by Striborg, you will find out 3 different phases at least. Once again, it might be not so clear for the audience, but that's a different thing. Basically what you have here is more metallic output and more electronic, and then some. But anyway, these are going back to the history. As you mean, take a look at this. This is a vast amount of albums, like a massive list. Not only full lengths, which are plenty. Sometimes like you get like 2 or 3 albums a year, almost like that. But also you have plenty of compilations. There are like years like 2017 and 2018, 3 albums a year. And then you have these demo splits, compilations, and whatever. So it's a massive thing. Personally, I think I have gone through like 6 or 7 albums throughout the years. That is probably also reviewing, not only listening. And these include at least Mysterious Semblance, Spiritual Catharsis, I think Nefari and Coast Woodlands and Solitude. Something along those lines. But these 2 are among the first few ones. That is the first 5 ones. Albums from 2003 and 2004. Not 2003. And as you can see, some people really like these. You know, 93% per 2 reviews here on average, which means some people really are into Striborg. I happen to be one of those negative Joes, unfortunately. That is, this is the kind of a band or a project which doesn't really resonate too much with me. Now the thing here is, it's very much a combination of, well, atmospheric black metal and then these kind of ambient-like parts. It's clear that already with these ones, Sinana had been experimenting with a lot of synths, creating this kind of a sinister, dark, electronic feelings, if you will. And then having these kind of a lo-fi guitar sound and drums, or drum machines, I'm not exactly sure how it is here. But anyway, be it as may, the thing is, it's very lo-fi black metal in an atmospheric sense, combined with these more like ambient parts. And for some people, it's just magical how it works. Some people who want their black metal to be less on the aggressive and violent side, thinking about bands like Marduk or maybe earlier Immortal. And then you have these people who just want to go within a soothing ways, you know, maybe creating this nocturnal, well, atmosphere maybe. And that is where Striborg totally nails it. That is, if you don't mind that kind of a lo-fi production. For me, it rubs quite the wrong way. It's not like I hate this kind of music. It's more like I barely get nothing out of it. Now, first of all, none of these songs are exactly very memorable. I remember when I went through these some, I don't know, 15, 10, 13 years ago, and I was like, man, this is way too much when you have more than 70 minutes on an album, which doesn't really have these kind of riffs like, hey, okay, I want to get back to this. And also on top of that, you have this kind of a lo-fi production, which makes it kind of weak. Once again, for some people, I understand it does the trick, but for the rest of us, not so much. So it depends what you're looking for. I really can't enjoy most Striborg material very much. Most of them is like on the other side of mediocrity. Some of them are a little bit better, like, hey, this is pretty okay, but not giving me like wow moments. And some of them are just plain bored. It's not like the songwriting is outright bad. It's more about it's very boring, more like very demo-like, and the kind of lack of proper production doesn't really support. It's not like, wow, these vocals are so goddamn powerful and the guitar sound is massive and these drums are just like, wow. And then you could just forgive some of the very mediocre songwriting, saying like, okay, I don't know if it makes lots of sense, but at least it's powerful. Now it's weak sounding and also being very, you know, forgettable. Like I said, this once again depends so much to which kind of music you're into. Some people, really good, and the others, not so much. So this is a very much a niche genre. And personally, I really can't recommend Striborg to anybody. I mean, it's kind of music that you already know about it because you are into this kind of marginal material. And the rest of people, they don't really care. Anyway, if you're once again looking for these ones, they're out there as physical copies from Satanath Records. There might be other versions which are still out there, not sold out. So do a little bit of Googling and you shall find this in your favorite distribution or web store. But like said, listen to these before you buy. It's not guaranteed you will like it at all. But once again, if you're one of the marginal types, maybe, just maybe, these are the albums you get your sleep and all that. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to comments. Meanwhile, take care.